Hello everyone. If you want to get better at PvP in DayZ Standalone, then this might be the right video for you. A few of these tips are for PC players only. However, there are enough tips for our lovely console community as well. I have over 2000 hours in DayZ and I've been playing since the end of 0.59, so yes, I am indeed kinda experienced. This is a redone, up-to-date and improved version of my previous video called How to Get Better at PvP in DayZ Standalone. You may wanna watch that video as well, link in the description. If you look on screen now, you can see everything I'm gonna talk about today. Pause the video here if you want to take a look at everything, otherwise we'll just get to the video right now. Let's start off with the basic stuff, which would lead us to mouse sensitivity. There is not a lot to talk about. Obviously, having a low mouse sensitivity will improve your aim, however, having it too low is also useless. You basically have to try it out and see what fits your best, and do not change it every time. If you keep changing your mouse sensitivity, you'll never adapt to it. That tip works for every other game you play, by the way. Here's a picture of my mouse sensitivity. Remember, I use 800 dpi on my mouse. Feel free to try it out. On to graphic settings now, and graphic settings in DayZ are really important since you want to spot your enemy before they spot you, right? So, object detail is a setting you want to have as high as possible because windows from buildings will render in from further distances away, which obviously allows you to see into buildings from higher distances. You want to keep your terrain details pretty low so you have less grass. And if you did not know, the render distance for grass is 100 meters. So if you start proning in the middle of the field, thinking you're all covered and the enemy can't see you, well, you're wrong, they can. Texture detail is personal preference. Choose what you like and what fits your PC best. Remember, you want to have as much FPS as possible, so if your PC isn't the best, then I'd choose low. I have my shadows on low so I can spot players better in the woods. I will not cover the different rendering types because it would take too long and it's mainly personal preference. They are there to make your game look better, and changing them really won't give you a huge PvP advantage. Obviously, a good player has put a lot of hours into the game. You can't pick up the game and be a PvP legend like Toprak. You have to put hundreds of hours into the game to be good at it. And one of the key elements to improve is to know the map in and out. It will help you with flanking locations. You'll know where to run in case you have to flee. You can predict what your opponent is going to do just by knowing the map and all of its locations. And for that alone, you'll have to invest more than 200 hours into the game. Without map knowledge, you won't be a good player. You also won't be a good teammate because you don't know directions. You can't give proper callouts to your teammates, and you're already struggling after spawning in because you don't know what your spawn location is. So meeting up is going to be a pain in the ass. Moving on to the advanced techniques, we have aim practice. The problem with aim practice is that as a new player, you don't get a lot of chances to fire your gun because you're either struggling to find one or you die pretty quick. But not only new players struggle with their aim, a lot of experienced players do as well. The best way to practice your aim is actually in other games. For example, CSGO. CSGO helps with aim practice in general. You get a better feeling for your mouse and you'll learn to flick properly. The good thing about CSGO is that it is now free to play, so you can just download it. And you want to practice your aim on workshop maps, because there are workshop maps specifically for aim practice and target tracking. Tracking your target is really important in DayZ if you have to line up your shot. If you're struggling with your target tracking, you better start looking for a workshop map, otherwise you'll never hit your shots on distance. If someone is running from left to right and you're terrible at tracking, well, then the gunfight is basically over before it started. I suggest you practice your aim every day for at least 15 minutes in CSGO. You'll see improvements, not only in DayZ, but also in other games. Take Shroud, a former CSGO major player, as an example. He's been destroying in every game that he plays because of his past CSGO career. So invest some time in target practice and you'll become a better player. Every gun in DayZ has different recoil. Some have more, some have less. And with recoil control, I'm not talking about learning all the different recoil patterns for every gun. I'm talking about a special situation where you lose complete control of your gun and all the bullets are going everywhere but not where you want them to be. A lot of powerful guns got high recoil, but also high damage output. Let's take the AK as an example. The AK has got huge recoil, and spraying with it can end really bad if you lose control of the gun. Here's a clip of me spraying my AK and actually losing control of the gun. Thankfully, my teammate saved me. But if I were alone in that situation, well, I'd be dead as fuck. We're down the wall, you see him?
Down the wall, in the ditch now? I don't see him.
I see him.
I hit him, he's dead.
Oh my god, thank you so much, dude. You played it like a bitch. Oh, you saved my life. So first of all, if you lose control of your gun, you should stop shooting immediately. You stop shooting and you start running left and right, dodging, re-peeking, whatever. But don't stop shooting for too long. After you stop shooting, you wanna redo your spray ASAP, otherwise you'll get killed. So stop shooting and immediately start firing again after doing some quick left and right. Oh yeah, and don't forget to do some Call of Duty drop shots and Ultimate 360 LMG flick shots, my dude. But let's also not forget to mention that gun attachments actually help you with your gun recoil. So if you don't have a buttstock or a handgun on your gun, you'll have more recoil than with a buttstock or a handgun. However, I've tried using a different handgun on the AK to see which one reduces the recoil the most, but they all reduce the recoil by the same amount. Same goes for the M4. I tried using different handguards, but no difference. Then I used a different buttstock and, well, no difference either. So you can use any handgun or buttstock on your gun, they don't make a difference. However, having no handgun or buttstock on your gun will increase the recoil by a lot. You always want to have a good and sorted inventory. If your inventory is a mess, well then good luck finding the rounds you need if you need to load your gun. So always manage your inventory, so you can immediately find what you need. Spread out your rounds and mags, so if your jacket and everything in it gets ruined, you still have mags in the other parts of your clothing. A good sorted inventory also helps with looting. You get a quick overlook on how much space you have left and what you can drop if you need to. Remember, if you're looting a dead player, you want to loot them as quick as possible. So always having to move stuff around is going to get you killed. Oh yeah, and always use the hotbar for reloading your gun, pulling out the melee gun, and always hotbar your bandages. You bleed out really fast and those 2 seconds not having to open your inventory, but instead pressing one key can decide life or death. Gear is awesome, right? Carrying 4 guns and thousands of rounds is exactly what you need. You need all the guns and rounds you can get. Wrong! You want to carry as less as possible. So if you die, you don't lose much. You don't need 20 guns or millions of rounds. This is DayZ, not GTA 5, where you can keep pulling out different guns, right? Let's say you're playing with a Mosin. 3 to 4 stacks of 20 rounds is all you need. That's 80 rounds in total. And remember, the Mosin is a sniper. You'll never shoot 80 rounds of your sniper rifle in a gunfight. That would be ridiculous. And your Mosin will probably be ruined after 80 rounds. Remember, you want to carry as less, so you lose less. Especially if you have a base, because then you can simply stash most of your rounds. Let's say you're also carrying an AK with you because the Mosin, maybe won't do much on close quarter gunfights. We're all not top rank, so yeah. 3 full mags and 1 in your gun is actually all you need. And maybe, like 100 spare rounds. You won't need more in a gunfight, and if you waste a lot of rounds, the people you killed probably have more rounds for your gun. You can use the inventory space for so much more, because you need a lot of bandages. I'd say you carry 2 stacks of 6 rags with you, and at least 4 bandages. You want to use the bandages only in emergency. If you're in a gunfight, for example, and you need to bandage ASAP. You can use the rags if a zombie made you bleed, for example. You bleed out so fast that bandages are your only hope in a gunfight. And let's not forget about the food and water, right? But don't waste inventory space with too much food or water. If your stomach is full, then you should carry like 4 to 5 cans of food with you. Maybe 2 to 3 apples as well, and 6 cans of, Pepsi. Or just bring enough water bottles. I should probably mention that clothing does make a difference in a gunfight. You don't want to run around with the biggest backpack that you can find. Stuff like this will always give away your position. Also, if you're playing first person using a ghillie or a huge backpack, That immediately brings you into a disadvantage. So don't run around with huge backpacks and wear clothing that actually lets you blend in with the environment. So bam, you've just got into a gunfight. Or you're about to be in one. First thing that you should do is panic. You start screaming, you let everyone know you're there. You shoot at everything you see. You waste all the rounds you have. And don't forget to start hyperventilating. No, or just all jokes aside, I know DayZ can be a stressful game and losing your gear sucks. But you should not be afraid of going into a gunfight. If you're afraid of firefights, then you're playing the wrong game. You have to think that you'll win this gunfight, no matter how bad the odds are. You tell yourself that you win. You gotta stay calm and precise. If you start panicking, you'll miss your shots. Be like John Wick. Be a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will for that amazing loot.
John is a man of focus, commitment, and sheer will.
And if you die, well then you go down swinging. And you start again and again and again. Because that's how you get a better player. You learn from your mistakes. You gotta ask yourself, why did I die? What did I do wrong here? Should I have went left instead of right? I could have flanked him. Maybe I was too offensive. And next time, you avoid those mistakes. You gotta stay liquid, especially if you're playing alone. Shoot and move is what you have to do. If you're engaging a squad and they have not seen you yet, then your first shot has to be a kill shot. After you shoot, you retreat immediately. You flank around them. They will be running around where you shot last time, so you get yourself a position where you can see them again. And you take out the second guy. You start flanking again and again until they're all dead. You can easily take on any squad if you play like that. This is not Call of Duty. You have to play smart. And here's where map knowledge comes in. If you know the map in and out, you know the next best position that you can run to. You know where you can take cover and you can predict where the enemy is going to run. I actually have a video which is called Outplaying My Enemy, where I predicted every step that my opponent did. Feel free to check it out. There's a lot you can learn from that encounter alone. Zeroing your gun when shooting is one of the most important things that you have to do in a gunfight, and a lot of people forget to zero their gun. Always double check before shooting if your gun is zeroed incorrectly. Like I said, your first shot has to be a kill shot, so take your time if needed. Double check if the gun is zeroed right. If the gun is on full auto. Is my gun even loaded? Maybe I forgot to load my mag in. That actually happened to me. I took my mag out and started loading it, but I forgot to put it back in, and that got me killed. You learn from your mistakes. DayZ is unforgiving, so the slightest mistake can get you killed. Do I even have to mention that running through open fields or start shooting at someone while you're in an open field is stupid? Yeah, you should not do that. It's also gonna get you killed. Alright, you follow my guide. You manage to get a kill. What do you do next? Well, you get a position on the body and you scout out the area before looting. Wait at least 5 minutes and make sure you're good. And the guy you killed does not have more friends. A lot of people die because they kill someone and immediately start looting the person, even though the guy may have had friends or there were more people around. You have enough time until the gear despawns, so don't be stupid. Better safe than sorry, right? Teamwork can get you really far in DayZ. You're stronger together and your gear is also safer, because if you die, your teammates can pick up your loot again. But in order to be successful as a team, you need good communication. Constant screaming and having 4 guys talk won't get you far as a team. Of course you can joke around with your buddies, but you always have to be focused. If no one is paying attention, then your squad will be wiped out faster than you can even call out where you got shot from. Keep clear comms and know your callouts, saying, "There's a guy over there," or "He's by the red building, dude." Is not going to help. Or, watch out, those are the best people. All of you are running in a forest, and suddenly one of your teammates is calling, "There's a guy behind a tree! There's a fucking dude behind that tree!" Dude, that's the callout you need. Or just simply learn the map, and you can say, "There's someone behind a tent on the very northwest side of the base. He's running east." That's a clear callout, and no one will scream and ask, "Where? Where is he? What?" I don't know what you're talking about. You know, you get what I'm saying, right? Well, this is the end of the video. I hope those tips are and will be useful to you, and I'd appreciate a like on the video, and maybe, consider subscribing. If you have more helpful tips, feel free to comment them down below so other people can also see them. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care everyone.